Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I wanted to talk about Trump's budget, where he is cutting public assistance. And let's keep this in mind. This is public assistance. This does not apply to one specific race or one gender. But what has been going on in Black YouTube? There has been this celebration for White Daddy. There has been caping and dancing and celebrations going on because, according to these dusty males who are celebrating, they said that they are so glad that Trump, which they call the white devil, Trump is going to cut off benefits that include Section 8 food stamps, which they call SNAP, Medicaid, and TANF benefits, which those are cash benefits from the state. I mean, sometimes I get confused because when you're calling somebody the devil and they're evil, my thought is they're evil in everything they do. But how you can clap for anything that they do, no matter what it is baffling to me, and it's confusing, and it's sending different messages. But yet they like to say that Black women are sucking white dick. But 18% of Black males voted for Trump, and they are celebrating. In their mind, they think that Black women will be hurt by these benefits being cut off. Now, what I want to do is, because a lot of people have been talking, and this is Black males and females of the dusty variety, that have been saying things about people who receive public assistance. And it's coming from a place of if their parents used to get it, and usually that's what they know is, they grew up in the household with food stamps and their mom used to get it or the family used to get it. And I'm coming from a viewpoint of working in the Family and Social Services RCC for 2 years. Anybody who applied for benefits or know about benefits, the RCC is different. It's set up like a call center. It wasn't like that before. Usually you had a caseworker, but depending on the state, I know the state here where I worked, they don't have caseworkers anymore. It's set up like a call center, and all you have to do is give your case number and they can access your case. And what some people may be used to is the local office. And these local offices, they are stationed near you by zip code, and you can find it by zip code. And what will happen is you can go in, you can fill out an application. Most of it is done online now. If you have internet access at your home, you can actually fill out an application at home, or you can go into your local office. You can bring paperwork there. You can fax information there. If you need emergency food stamps, you can even talk to a state worker, because a state worker is able to approve or deny. And once they approve the stamps, they'll be on your card within 24 to 48 hours. So maybe people are more familiar with the local office, where people will take you in and they'll sit with you. But at the RCC, that's where all the applications go from online, and when they're faxed, all the paperwork that needs to be processed, everything goes to the RCC. And the people who work in the RCC, they complete the whole case, they update your case, everything. So when we get that information, we just enter it in. When you work for the state, basically you have to go through not 6 days, not 6 weeks, but 6 months of training, just to get a slight understanding of the job that you are doing. You actually only have 2 times to take a test after you've studied, and if you don't pass it, you will not be getting the job, and you will not continue on with the training. Now, once you complete everything, they will put you wherever you do best. Sometimes you're processing documents all day. Sometimes you're put on a special assignment with a specific type of processing of a specific document. You could be processing applications. You could be taking people's phone calls. One misconception is that there is a lot of fraud going on. There really isn't. Usually, what happens is if we get a call saying someone is committing fraud, it's one of two things that's going on. It is a disgruntled spouse or significant other that is mad, and so they decide to call in and usually make false reports to get the person's food stamps cut off, which is deplorable. And I've seen that a lot. And the way well, since people want to say, it's mostly women and black women, it was a black man. He called up every month on this woman lying, and they would write it down every time, investigate it, and then close it, because this woman was not doing anything, and she said he was harassing her. And since she had his children, he was basically trying to take the food out of his children's mouth, and that's disgusting. But the other side of it is people will call in because they wanted to buy food stamps, and then they'll say the person is selling them, they're selling them for drugs. And usually it's the person wanted to buy and the person did not, sell it to them. Is what it is. And that came from a lot of Caucasian people snitching on their own. When you work in this environment, the majority of the people working in the RCC and the local offices, they are black females. So you have a lot of black females employed there. But some of those black females, because of the income they get, they could end up qualifying. And that is what baffles me, is people act like there are just droves of black women going into the local offices saying that they don't have this income when they do have this income, tricking people and saying that they are not getting something, when we have the ability to see damn near everything. Not everything, but damn near the most important stuff. If you're getting Social Security checks, if you're getting a paycheck, if you're employed, if you ever signed up for anything, if you're getting VA benefits, if it doesn't matter, we know. even we put you through the ringer because it's in our job. They tell us we have to ask for this stuff. But I'll say the state put you through the ringer for absolutely nothing because we have access to that information. To this day, Section 8 does not have to ask for a lot of stuff they used to because it's in the database and they get updates just like we get updates, even child support. This rejoicing, it's making me sick and it's disgusting because what people don't understand, when we go in for the training, we are told, people are going to have a pissy attitude because this is how they eat, this is how they feed their family, and the majority of the people who are on public assistance are children. So every time you open your mouth talking about public assistance and cutting it off, and yes, it's usually not the adults, it's the children. You want to take food out of children's mouths. And then on top of that, the reason why the adult may not qualify is because they are working, sometimes 2 and 3 jobs. And the reason that is, and anybody telling you that the people are just sitting on their ass, they are a damn lie. Because you can ask anybody who used to work in, it doesn't matter if it was an RCC or if it's the local office. The number one thing that we hate to put in, because it is scrutinized, it is looked over, is income. We have to put every decimal point, every one, everything has to be correct, because if we are QA'd on it, we could take a hit. Because here in this fucked up state, what they do is when they hire you on, they take $2 from your beginning salary, right? And then you have to earn that back by doing so many applications and tasks, which is really fucked up, because if you're answering calls, there's no way you're going to meet that. So they're paying you less than what you started out with if you came through a temp agency, or what you first started out with. So that's another thing. The reason why a lot of these people are angry that you see setting up there, and you wondering why they have a nasty ass attitude, and then people want to say that's just a black bitch with an attitude. The reason why she has an attitude is they are working her like a fucking dog, and they're taking $2 out of her pay, and they're QAing her, and if she doesn't make a certain amount of QAs, good QAs, they can take money out of her kid's mouth. That's the way it works here. So that's why when you call in, you have people with attitude, because they practice this shit statewide. Texas was another one. You can look it up. They had lawsuits because the workers' pay got so low, it was under the federal minimum wage, and they got a lawsuit from it. So that's why the women are pissed off sometimes and they sound angry. But then you're sitting in an environment where you're getting all these Caucasian people calling in, and they have the nerve to call you a bitch and a nigger on the phone because they didn't turn in their necessary paperwork, and now their benefits are cut off. There's people saying they get a lawyer, they're going to talk to the state, everything. So you can imagine how people would lose their minds if they went ahead and cut these people benefits off. And then nobody is thinking about the elderly, are we? We don't give a fuck about the children, do we? Let them starve to death. But nobody's thinking about the elderly. And sometimes the elderly get $16 a month, if not less. I've seen 9. And they still depend on that because they need every little penny that they can get. Then on top of that, nobody is thinking about the disabled people. Nobody's thinking about the mentally challenged people. I myself had to sit on the phone with a young lady. She was in an accident and she doesn't have the short-term memory. And sometimes she forgets things, and all she needed was a little assistance to get a new PIN number because someone who usually helps her was not there at the time. So I stayed on the phone with her until she got what she needed. But nobody gives a fuck about her. You don't care about her. She can starve for all you care. All you care about is getting back at your baby mama or a woman who offended you. Usually when the adults are working, they don't qualify because they're making too much income anyway, and the food stamps are for the children. And then people talking about people selling, yes, sometimes they will sell the food stamps for money to pay a bill. And then people are setting up here acting like people on food stamps are eating steak and lobster, drinking champagne every fucking night. Have you lost your mind? That just goes to show me nobody knows the ins and outs of public assistance. Nobody knows how much it is, because you wouldn't be talking that shit, because you would be embarrassed because you know how much it is. And here we go. Here's the SNAP benefits. And this actually shows something that I didn't notice when I was working there. You see, the majority of the people who are getting SNAP benefits are Caucasians. And I don't want to hear that bullshit about Caucasian makes up the majority. Bullshit. I don't want to hear it. Especially when you say you are the most educated, you have the most integrity, you have the highest IQ, you are the first hired, last fired, you built this nation, you're a fucking Superman and Superwoman, and what the hell do you need benefits for? That means when I look at a white person on benefits, your ass is being lazy, because you can get a job with a criminal record before a black person with a squeaky clean record. So what the fuck are you on benefits for? What do you need a handout for? The inception of this country was made for you to progress. So why do you need a handout when you've never been marginalized, you've never been discriminated against? When I see this number, it makes me feel like you don't want to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and do better. Especially with that skin. You know, that the Caucasian women want to say everybody wants. I'm the beauty standard. You know, since that's the beauty, you should be able to go out there and get any job you want to. Especially when black people are the last hired, first fired. But you can see the statistics here. But then here, this is bigger than this. This is wrong. Because when you go into a case and you look into a case, everybody is listed in the household. You have to fill out all information for everybody who is in that home. Now, let me tell you what they do to mess with these statistics. If it is a white family, and they have over 4 people in that family, they will list the race as unknown. You see this unknown here? Race unknown. There's a code we put in to mark them as unknown. And the majority of cases with white households, these cases, there's only one case per household. So there's not multiple cases open for them. So you can go ahead and put this 12.8%, you can go ahead and put it right up here. Because here, if somebody is another race, they can say multiple race. If they are not listed here, they'll be listed as other. So this race unknown bullshit right here, this is Caucasian too. Just to let you know. Because I've sent cases to the state where I corrected it, because I'll go and pull your old application and then put the race in there. It was undone when it came back to me. So just to let you know, it's being done on a state level. And also with black people, this number right here, this is wrong. It's actually lower. And I'm not saying this is the Huffington Post fault. It's actually the data that was given to them is wrong. Because there's a screen in there that takes all this data down and it's given out. So They're just giving wrong data. Now, to make it seem like there's more black people on SNAP benefits or any type of benefits, what they do is, especially with the SNAP benefits, right now, you have the HIP 2.0 program. And what they'll do with black people is they will have their food stamps and they will have TANF if they get it, which people rarely get the cash. You have to be getting nothing. You have to be in dire straits to get cash. What they do is they'll have two cases open for you. And one will be medical coverage and the other will be it can be the children's medical coverage, and it'll be SNAP and TANF if you get it. So now you have two cases open, and even it could add up to 3 and 4 possibly, because I did get a call from a woman who said that she has been calling about the situation of her not living at an address and they hadn't closed the case. So what I noticed with black people is there would be multiple cases open for a specific person or family at different addresses. So if you move, they won't close that case. They'll just open up another case for you. They know it's a case open. We always know it's the system tells us a case is open for you. They just make them anyway. So now you have this person with 3 or 4 cases open at different addresses, which is counting as 3 or 4 people if it's a single person, or 3 or 4 families, which is counting each person. It makes the statistics look like it's more black people than there really are, because you're counting the same people multiple times. So that's something that's going on that people don't know. And this is exactly what I was saying. I had never scrolled down here to take a look at this. But yeah, you see this? Children. And they're doing the average of what they get. Disabled, non-elderly, elderly. And that's exactly what I was talking about. These people are so sick. You want to hurt a black female so bad, you are infected with a sickness. At this point, I think you have a demon inside of you. You're a devil. You're disgusting. That you don't even see that it's children, the disabled, and elderly who you are going to end up hurting the most. I mean, you don't, at this point, for you to be celebrating this shit, you don't give a fuck about anybody but you. And you are a disgusting excuse for a human being and worthless at this point. Absolute waste of oxygen. This further shows what I was talking about. Here, TANF 6.5, that just shows you a lot of fucking people do not get cash benefits. Because like I said, you have to be damn near getting nothing. And with the cash benefits, yes, a husband can be in the household. With any benefits, yes, the husband can be in the household. Not a boyfriend can be in the household, but he has to get his own stuff. They're not going to recognize him, but they're still going to take his income in consideration for the children. 0 gross income here. 21%. This is when people fall on hard times and they have nothing coming in. And when you see Social Security, SSI, this is the elderly. They're getting income. And you see at 31%, 31.2% earn income. Earn income means you are fucking working and you are getting a paycheck. These people are working and they still qualify. You cannot get benefits if you don't qualify. That means you have to make a certain amount, and it's not what you bring home. It's not your net pay. It's your gross pay, which makes it worse. They take in consideration what you are grossing. That's before the taxes are taken. I'll go ahead and leave this in the description because a lot of people are so fucking remedial that, maybe they'll have to look at it for themselves to understand. But this is something that I already knew. And everybody is putting out all kinds of bullshit, trying to tear down people who get benefits. And like I said, the majority of these dusty ass dust bunnies are talking because they have a felony on their record. And when you have a felony on your record, you can't get shit except Medicaid. So now they're mad because they can't get the benefits. You can't get SNAP benefits or cash benefits having a felony. I don't care what color you are. And that's why they're talking shit. And I just wanted to show how much is given in a household. If it's one person, it's $194 a month. So tell me, as much as shit costs now, how are you supposed to survive on $194? And please understand, this is the max. If you're one person and you're getting $194, that means you have no income coming in. So that means if you have any type of income coming in from unemployment, that's called unearned income. Anything, it doesn't matter what it is. If you have income coming in, these food stamps get cut. So they can cut it to, let's say you're getting unemployment at $200 a week. You're not going to get $194. You're going to get about $60 a month because you have income coming in. Just like this. This is a household of two, the maximum. So this is the max you can get, $511. And please understand, these high numbers, this is only if you have no income coming in, is that you're going to get this much. But yeah, usually because the majority of the people are working, it's not going to be that much. So yeah, they're getting all kinds of steaks and lobsters, and they're getting all kinds of good shit with this, right? And then here, TANF, if you even get it, which a lot of people don't, this is for the children only, and this is if you have one parent in the home as the caretaker. So if, the woman, she can't go out and work, which is not much of anything, she can stay home and take care of the children because, paying for child care could be too much. But if you have two parents, which you can get TANF if you have two parents in the home. So if you have two parents in the home, one parent has to be out looking for work and one can stay home with the children. And this is what you get if you have a family size of two. If it's for the child, you're only getting $141. And you really think it only takes $141 to buy Pampers and formula, if you buy formula, and food and any other personal things that, you need to take care of your child. And this is monthly, not a week, but a month. And you think that, the cash is enough for a child. This is enough for a child a month? I don't think so. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say about this fuckery that's going on with these men talking about black bitches are going to get cut off of public assistance in Section 8. I think it's deplorable. I think it's disgusting. It speaks to the character of these dust bunnies. They're worthless. And they obviously don't have a brain to think, because in your celebration of thinking you're going to get back at your baby mama, or you're going to get back at your ex-wife, or because your ego is bruised, you are celebrating that, older people, the elderly, and children won't have any food to eat and they're going to starve to death. And you think that shit is funny. And I can only imagine all of the white supremacists who are laughing at the fact that you're being a absolute certified dumbass. So I will go ahead and leave it here. I may go ahead and do another video because I did want to explore, public assistance fraud, which one of the biggest cases, it was in New York, and it was about 30 Caucasian people who were committing fraud. There was another town with Social Security, and they were found to be committing fraud, and it was a town predominantly, I believe it was only Caucasian people in that town. So, that doesn't fly. And it just, when I heard and I looked at these videos, it made me sick to the pit of my stomach. It shows the hatred within the black community, because how can you hate another person that looks like you so much that you want them to starve to death? You want them to starve to death, and then let's say all of these benefits are cut. You're still going to be paying high taxes. The taxes will probably go up, and you won't have a safety net. And then this is coming from black people who are trying to tell black people start a business with what? There are people who are living paycheck to paycheck, and sometimes that paycheck does not last until the other paycheck comes in. It's that bad. People don't have money, spare money. Like I said, there are some people, elderly people, who they only get $16 a month, and they need every dollar of that. That's how bad it is. People are out of touch with reality, is what it is. They've gotten comfortable in their space, and they think they are untouchable until they get touched. Until they end up in a situation. Until they end up like some of those Caucasian people who were talking about, shut off the benefits, and then their job was taken overseas, and now they're relying on those benefits. A lot of these dusty ass men are laid up with these women. They're talking about these women behind their back and laid up with these women, and they're enjoying the Section 8. They get to kick their feet up on the table and enjoy having some place to put their head down, put their head on a fucking pillow, because they're enjoying that Section 8 money to pay rent so they can have a place to sleep. They're sitting up here enjoying the food, all of the crunchy taco shells there. They're enjoying that going down their throat. They have some food to put down their throat while they're sitting up there with their baby mama or in some woman's house. They're enjoying the HIP 2.0 benefits, the Medicaid benefits. If something starts hurting them, they can go to the doctor, but have the nerve to talk shit. I think it's absolutely disgusting and deplorable. But I'll go ahead and leave it right here. Let me know what you think. If you have any stories or anything that you'd like to share, go ahead and leave it below, and I will see you in the next one.